Hi there guys, Farmer Bob here, man. Great to be back with another video on map making, my favorite topic. Great to be back guys, and thanks for joining and for watching. I do appreciate your time, and it's always fun making these little videos. I hopefully help a lot of guys, and making some nice maps, that's the idea of the channel. So yeah, let's get stuck in. If this is your first time on my channel, a warm welcome to you, and do remember to subscribe. I do appreciate that, and also like and the bell and all the other goodies. I like that and appreciate that. Great guys, so this video we're going to have a look at the traffic splines. Now I don't know why there needed to come a change in the splines. For some funny reason, Giants had another bee in their bonnet, or a bee in their boot, or wherever the bee is. Don't really know what that means, guys, but yeah, there came a change in the splines, and for some annoying reason it's got a weird setup. So let me have a quick look at, or a quick show you a quick thing on the splines. So I'm going to just make this thing visible for us. I've got one spline here, it's a vehicle spline, and I'm going to click on it, hit the right keyboard arrow, Control B. That should bring our start here. And then if I now go to the next point, where is that other weird funny stuff? I want to have a look at the end of the spline. Normally it's at the end of the splines where the stuff happens, I've freshly imported this. Alright, so what we're going to do, hit that, one right, one left, should bring us to the end, Control B. That is the end of our spline, Control B. And I don't see this funny business, but let's just go back to the start. There's this weird funny thing. I just want to drop a few points here. Control B. What I'm doing is I'm just hitting the right arrow just to go through a few points, and Control B just to place them down. Now I don't see this funny business. Let's just import the whole traffic spline thing. I'm just going to delete that. Luckily I have the map US open for us. Going to file, export selection with files. So by the way, if you don't have splines, guys, let me start fresh. If you don't have splines, or any spline on your traffic spline on your in your transform group of your map or the scene graph, then you can export. The easiest way is to just export from the in-game maps. So go into any of the in-game maps, open them up, select your traffic spline transform group, the main transform, and go file export as I've done now, and then you go into your own map directory. You'll see there's my empty flat map. Create a spline, or just name it spline or whatever, because you're going to delete this afterwards. That was the previous video. I can delete that. Just call it spline i3d. You'll see I've already exported one there. That's the one I had in the map, and for some reason now it is not showing that weird funny business. So I want to just do it right, go save, and yes to both questions. Very important to hit yes there. I don't know what happened now. There were 3 questions and I just get yes to all 3, or maybe I misclicked or whatever. I don't know. Let's just go on into here. And then what you're going to do is go into your map, import. It will take you to your last export directory, which was that one. Double click that and it will drop the traffic splines for you. I've got the whole thing here now. Alright, I'm going to just delete my whole thing. Control Z, I'll have to undo that. Obviously I deleted the traffic spline, so I'm just going to drop that into splines. I'm going to move it up the ranking up to there, and there it is. Alright, so now I've got all the in-game splines. So I want to just have a look now at this spline setup here. So I'm going to hit that, make it visible once again. Right arrow, Control B, just to get it here. Right arrow, Control B. arrow, Control B. Just going to bring a few of them down here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go click there, right arrow, left arrow, and then I'm going to delete all of the other ones. Okay, now I've just deleted too many of them. Control Z, a few of them. Control B to bring it in here. Oh, funny enough, I don't see that funny business anymore. Maybe they've changed it, I don't know. But anyway, let us start afresh. Delete all the other splines, so we only have one, because obviously I'm not going to do a whole thing on all the millions of spline stuff, you know. I'm just going to do one spline, so the vehicles will run in a circle for us. Great. Okay, and it's nice and close by field 1, so we know where it is on the flat map, you know. All right, so if you don't have the traffic splines, you can import it, as I've just showed you now. And very important, your traffic splines must have user attributes. The onCreate for the traffic, this is the traffic system, all right? And the XML file for that, you can choose any one. It doesn't matter, there's 3 in-game ones to choose from. But as long as you have the XML pointing at one of the traffic systems, it's under in-game installation, maps, map US, config, and then traffic system.xml in there. Okay, so that's your 2 user attributes for the traffic system. The splines doesn't have anything in it, so that's just the spline transform group, but the traffic system does, and the pedestrian system does, you see. And I think the AI also, yes, the AI also has attributes on it. Very important. Without those attributes, your traffic splines will not work. So that's the first pointer there. And then the next thing is your splines. You can actually create a spline here. Create spline, primitive create spline. Now, the thing is, with this spline that you create, it will not have any attributes. So you're going to have to manually add the attributes to that if you want to create a spline here. But it's so easy to just export and import, you know. So don't fiddle with it. It's not worth your time. But you can do it. The way to do that will be to add the 2 attributes. If you go into spline itself, the spline itself has 2 attributes as well: max speed scale and speed limit. Now you need to know what type of attribute it is. There's a few attributes. There's Boolean, integer, float, string, script callback, node ID. Now I think these are floats, both of them. But let's just have a quick look and verify. To verify what type of attribute that is very simple. I just want to get this thing into my screen. Map US, here we go. Right click on that, edit with Notepad. All right, so just wait for that. And then we're going to go Control F, and we search for, what was it, max speed scale. Max speed scale, like that. I probably misspelled it. Let's just have a look there on the map. What is it called? Max speed scale. Max speed limit and max speed scale. So let's just verify. Max, oh, there was way too many E's. That's why we couldn't find it. All right, so there it is. So here you can see there's your 2 attributes for every spline. There's 2 attributes on the vehicles. It's max speed scale, it's a float, and that one is also a float. So both of them are floats, just as I said, and that's the way you will know what attributes to add. That's now if you want to add your own spline and configure it and do all that work. But it's so simple and easy just to import one, and it's already done for you. You know, I've just showed you how to import it, so it's very simple. All right, but if you want to do it manually, I want to just get the name now correct. The spelling is extremely important, guys. So it's max. I can actually just copy it here. Max speed scale. Control C. Come back into the map, and then we're going to go in here. Control V, type it in there, or just type it with a caps S and a two caps S's and then go to float and click add. All right, and now you can set your max speed scale by typing a value in there, and I think max speed, I think it was 1 for the scale, and then on the next one it was speed limit. Double click, Control C, back into our map. On the spline, add, Control V, make sure it's float, click add, and then here you can set the speed of this particular spline. Not the whole spline setup, but this particular spline. And I'm going to drag this in here, and let's just have 2 splines for this map. Double click to rename the spline. I'll just call this spline 1, and double click for this one, spline 2. The names are not important, but it's for you to keep track of where the spline is, you know, on your map. Great. Now, to place the spline, click on the spline, right arrow, Control B. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through the nodes quick. You don't have to use all the millions of in-game nodes. What you can do, what I normally do, is just delete all of them until there's only 2 left, start and end. So what I'll do now is Control B, put my end close to the start, all right, like that. Hit the insert, and the insert in FS25 will not select the new node. It will go to the, stay onto the E for some weird reason. All right, so now what you will do is you will hit your arrows until you're onto the new spline, or the new node, rather, not the spline, onto the new node. So now that you have the new node, you can hit Control B, and now you go towards the area where you want your traffic to run, and you hit insert, and insert, and insert, and insert, and insert onto your roads and wherever you want it to be, you know. And then what I'm going to do now, this last one, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now I'm going to go to my start, Control B. And remember, we now have 2 splines. And how the traffic system works, guys, it's one big loop. The start must always be connected to an end. So if you've got your next spline, why do I have another spline here? Where did that one come from? I'm just going to check. That is 1. That is 1, and that is 1. Now I have 3 apparently. So let's just delete that one. For some reason, now I have 3 splines. Don't know where that one came from. Anyway, so select the next one, and then just want to make sure that was the start and that was the end. So we need to connect a start to that end now. So go there, hit the right arrow, Control B, and just bring it close to that one like that. Now, once you've got it close to there, it's very important to zoom in close, because unlike FS22 and FS19, there's no magnetic anymore. You can put this magnetic on here, it doesn't work. Right, guys, so now that you have your 2 spline ends coming together, so that's your 1 spline. What is going on here now? Suddenly I have 2 splines, so just delete that one. So you have the end and the start of the one and the end of the other one together. So you'll take the last one, or the one that you want to connect to the other one, Control B, just bring it close to it, and take a note here at the bottom. Here's all your spline options that is set up, and you'll see spline snapping. The button V is at off. So if I hit V now, just hold it close and I hit V, it will bring the snapping back. So now the start and end positions will snap again. And that is very important. If they do not snap, the splines will not work. You will have an error in your vehicle thingamabob, that there's some dead ends or whatever on your spline system. That's the error that you normally get. All right, so now I'm going to just go here to the end and Control B, close to that one there, because I know this 2 is now connected. And remember, the splines need to be in a loop. If you have now intersections and stuff, you can easily add another spline for an intersection, as long as all the splines are, because the intersection is just a bunch of splines all together, making little, how do you call it, little corners and whatever. That's just like 6 or 8 splines in one place, going around a bend for two-way traffic and all of that type of stuff, you know. So don't fret too much about that. So I'm going to go Control B now on the E. This bend is actually going to be a bit crazy. It's going to be a sharp corner, you know. So let's go Control B. Just want to bring it into there. And if I click on that little node there, come to this start here, Control B, like there. All right, just bring them closer together so we can snap them on. And Control B, once again, hold the mouse, don't leave the left button. As you can see, snapping is off again, so I hit V, and there you go. It snaps on. Now this corner is way too sharp, you know, so what I'll have to do is Control B away, like that, and then come to this spline, right, left arrow, right arrow first, then left, it takes you to the end. And what I'm going to do is hit an insert, and then what I'm going to do is go, oh sorry, not there, right, left again, and then right again, not left, right, left, and then right. So I'm going to have to run through this whole spline to get there, or I can just select it here if I can. Yeah, that's good. All right, so I just want to get this corner a bit sorted out here. So hit insert a few times just to bring this, why is it doing this now? It's going towards the start. I just need a few nodes here to sort of get this corner going. Control B, yeah, like that. Control B, no, that's, I've got that node there that doesn't need to be there. It's actually going in there. That's what's going on here. Control B. Just want to get this corner a bit more straight. All right. Control B to the end and hit the V button. And it jumped onto that. As you can see, it's snapping is on. Great. So now that is working perfect. Now that we have a round spline, just remember now the V button for Victor is the one that toggles your snapping mode for the 2 points. All right, great. So if I now save my map here, I'm going to leave the splines visible, but you should actually make them invisible, because otherwise, let's just make them invisible. So otherwise you'll see these white lines in your map, which isn't nice, you know. And always make sure that your splines are above the parked cars transform. So the parked cars transform must always be at the bottom. If you've got a long list of splines, just drag your parked cars and drop, or cut and paste it onto the traffic splines. It will drop it at the bottom for you. So Control X for that, Control V on the traffic splines, and it will drop it at the bottom for you, just to sort of have it at the bottom always. All right, that is important. You mustn't have sort of interruption there for some reason. Great, so save the map. I'm going to go into the in-game map and just close this boy up, because we don't need to use that anymore. And this one is ready, so we can just start the game up and have a quick check and see if our vehicles are running. If your vehicles aren't running, it means that you've got a node somewhere, an end and a start and an end that is loose and not connected. So I'm going to quickly just start up the map and have a look at if the cars are running. So if your cars aren't running, just check your game log, and you will definitely find that the cars, there's a log or a node or somewhere, something that's not connected. Start map, that's the 4X, that's the normal one. Continue. I'm just going to put on my controls for just in case we need to fly a bit, you know, because sometimes the start point is like 1,000,000 miles away and you don't want to spend like half an hour running on the video, you know. Makes the editing easier if stuff happens fast. Wonderful, man. And there you can see all my parked cars. They're all in the air, but not to worry. We know that vehicle spline was here close to that, and I can already see it's working. Just want to get some speed up here, flight mode, and just put that on. There you go. There you can see the vehicles going, making that sharp corner turn there, running perfect. So if your vehicles aren't running, it just means that you've got nodes that are not connected. The start and end isn't connected, you know. So that's basically how you set up the splines in FS25. Make sure that they are connected, first of all, with the V button, Victor for V, and they must magnetically click to one another. If all your splines are connected, all the starts are connected to an end. You can have two starts, or you can have one start onto many ends, or one end onto many starts, you know, of splines going in different directions. So you can have, like at a junction, you will normally have the end spline, and then 2 or 3 starts to go into different directions of the junctions, you know. So don't worry about that. You can have more than one start on an end, or more than one end on a start, you know. So as long as they are magnetically snapped, the vehicles will come, and they will choose, AI will choose which direction which vehicle will go, you know. So that if you have a split in the road, AI will normally decide, you know, 1 car this way, 2 cars that way, whatever. Great. Well, guys, I hope that has been a bit insightful, and thank you so much for watching, sticking with it, and remember to like and subscribe. And if my stuff helps you, do help me out. Do jump onto my Patreon with some support. I do appreciate that, guys. Have a fantastic week. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.